Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to show you how to create and push your local Git repository to GitHub. We'll start with creating an empty, private GitHub repository, then create a local Git repo to start versioning our scripts, end with a Git push to send our work to GitHub, and all of the steps in between. I will also link an article in the description summarizing all the steps that we take. Let's jump right in. In a previous video, I showed you how to back up your Git repository without using GitHub. That was a great solution for fast, local backups and for experimentation. But if your hard drive fails, you're cooked.
Emotional damage!
So the solution in this video is essentially a cloud-based backup. The first thing we need to do is go to github.com. Click sign up if you need to create a new account, then go to sign in when you're ready. Here's my brand new account, and we'll go to create repository. We'll give this the name of scripts. Set the description. Make sure this is private. And these three steps are very important. Make sure this is off. This is set to no git ignore. And this is no license. This is because when we build our repository from the get-go, we don't want to start with any commits. This information is very important, and we'll come back to it later. Here are some scripts that I've been working on. But I want to start versioning with Git and pushing to GitHub. But if I type git status, we get this error because the command is looking for the git folder .git, which doesn't exist at the moment. So we run git init, and we can ignore the hint messages in this video, but now our .git folder is created. Now we have to set a username and email for our repository, but because we are using GitHub as our own private backup, the username and email can literally be whatever you want. So we'll set our username, and we'll set our email. And here's how to verify those settings. Now, if we run git status again, the command now works, but we can also see all of these files are untracked. So first I'll stage them. Then commit them using the command git commit. And I'll use the -m option to give a quick commit message. We'll use git log to view our commits. And here's our username, email, and our commit message. So now we have a Git repository, and we can start versioning our scripts. But we also want to push to GitHub. So let's do that now. Now we'll go back to our repos page, make sure HTTPS is selected, and copy this line here. Right under push an existing repository. Now before I paste, I want to show that we are not tracking any remote branches. Which makes sense. So I'll paste the line. And now we are tracking our remote branch. Fetch and push should also have the same URL for our purposes. And as a side note, Origin is the most common name used by convention, but you can actually name it whatever you'd like. So we'll use the command git push, specify the remote repository, which we called origin, and our local branch that we want to push, which is master. Now log in with your GitHub username, not email, and password. Now even if you enter your username and password correctly, you still get this error message. So what does this mean? We are using HTTPS to authenticate to GitHub before we push our work. But the error message is telling us we cannot authenticate that way. We have to use SSH to authenticate to GitHub, not HTTPS, before we push our work. Now you can use HTTPS to get clone, get fetch, and get pull all day, every day from GitHub on public repos without ever logging into GitHub. But pushing work to GitHub does require a few extra steps, mainly authentication. To get SSH authentication working to GitHub, we first have to generate an SSH key pair, copy our public key to GitHub, test our private key by authenticating, then push our changes. To generate our key pair, use the command ssh keygen. We are going to use a custom name, so make sure to specify the entire path to your .ssh folder, then your custom name. And as a best practice, make sure to create a passphrase for your private key and confirm it. Now your identification is also known as your private key, and your public key has a .pub extension. Cat your public key, copy it, and we're going to paste this into our GitHub profile. So here at our GitHub profile page, click on your avatar at the top right, go to Settings, SSH and GPG keys, click on New SSH key, paste your key here, your public key, give it a name, and this is important, make sure key type says authentication key, not signing key. Then just click Add SSH key. And now it's added. Now let's test our private key. We'll type SSH tac uppercase T, then git at github.com. This is my first time connecting, so I'll hit yes. And we get this error. Permission denied, public key. Now the reason this failed is because we do not have our private key loaded into memory. So to fix this, we need to perform the following steps. We have to spawn a brand new SSH agent process. We then have to add our SSH identity or private key. And use the passphrase we defined earlier. And now our private key should be loaded. Now let's test it again. Not only does it say that it was successful, but we can also confirm our username. Now let's try a git push. So we got the same error message as before. So what's happening? We have our SSH key working because we confirmed authentication, but we are still using the HTTPS protocol to authenticate to GitHub. Now the fix is easy. We just need to reconfigure Origin to use the SSH protocol. The easiest way to do this is to go back to our repos page, click SSH. Notice how this also changed. And now go here under Push an existing repository and copy this line. Now paste it into your shell. And if we hit enter, we actually will get an error message. This is because Origin is already defined. So to update Origin, we have to use the set URL option. And now we are set up to use SSH. And now we should be able to push. Now there's a lot going on in this output, but the main thing we are looking for is this. Now if we go back to our repo page and hit refresh on the browser, we can see our commit has been pushed to GitHub.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
Naturally, over time, you're going to update your Git repository with new commits, but we're also going to want to push those changes to GitHub as well. This is very easy to do now that we have this foundation set up. So I'll quickly create a second commit by updating the README file. And if we look at our repo now, we have one commit ahead of our remote repository. So we'll push our new commit back to GitHub with the exact same command. Git push to Origin, our local branch master. And another git log will show us that our remote branch is up to date with our local branch. And if we go back to GitHub and refresh our browser again, we now have two commits in our private GitHub repository. Now here's a recap of the steps we took to make git push work. First, we created a blank private repository on GitHub, initialized a Git repository to start versioning our scripts, created our first commit, generated an SSH key pair, transferred our public key to our GitHub profile, tested SSH authentication with our private key, then did a git push. Thank you for sticking with me. My intent was not only to show you the steps, but how fun and messy this stuff can actually be when you're figuring it out for the very first time. And most importantly, the why behind each step. Thank you for watching this video, and have a great day.